Hey everybody, it is Derek Jameson and I am coming to you with a brand new video about information that I have been really wanting to talk about, something that really speaks to me, something that I know my message is supposed to bring through, and I have been holding back a little bit with that. But with the feedback and beautiful engagement from some of you, I know that you want me to talk more about the extraterrestrial contact and channeling work that I do. And I was just waiting for a little bit more clarity on how I wanted to bring that information forward before I did it. I was also holding back a little bit because I thought, part of my ego barrier was that it would prevent me from furthering opportunities in my life. But I find that you must be authentic and you must do what calls to you. That will always open the doors of what is supposed to be in your life, and that will attract more of those things. That's all I've ever been shown. So that said, please do subscribe and hit the like button, and please engage with any of the information and material that I come forward with, as this is a co-creative experience and it is not simply just my telling of my story. It also includes your input, because we all have very different experiences within extraterrestrial contact, interdimensional connections, and everybody's interpretation and perception is going to be different. There are lots of similarities, but there's a lot of differences and unique perspectives that we can learn from. So it really depends on the consciousness of others to co-create that experience. So I'm going to give you an account of my personal experience, and this is only going to be the first video of many, but I wanted to give a brief overview, and it's probably not going to be as brief as I want it to be, just because there's a lot of information, but I wanted to start somewhere. So I thought, why don't we just kind of go for it and see what happens. As I said, this was kind of brought forward because a lot of people in the spiritual communities that I'm in connection with wanted me to talk more about extraterrestrial contact, because I think it helps them kind of tune into what their own experiences are a little bit deeper, as well as them to be able to help out their communities. So by holding back any information, it's really just me holding back light. So I'm here to do that. Many close people in my life, including family, know about my connections with extraterrestrials and angels, light beings, spirit guides, animal guides, all the stuff. And so this isn't anything new for them, but this may be new for some of the people that follow me or that have been in my life for a long time. If this information doesn't feel like it resonates with you, that's totally fine. This is my journey, this is my truth, this is my experience, and I can tell you that I never thought I'd be talking about this. It wasn't even in my head at all that I'd be talking about extraterrestrials, as I had a lot of fear around extraterrestrial connections when I was younger. I really always thought I was going to be abducted. I even had weird dreams where I think I was abducted, and now that I look back at that, I think there was an agreement where I did make a connection that deals with that. And I wouldn't call it an abduction as much as I would call it an agreement for ascension or progression in my own life experience. Now, a lot of this is going to be to help other people expand on their own abilities, their own connections, because it can be a very confusing experience all of a sudden having interdimensional beings connect with you, not knowing who they are, if they're malevolent or benevolent. And that's really kind of why I wanted to make this series, so that it kind of eases that process. I do work with a lot of people, my clients, who have extraterrestrial counterparts as well. I have been in connection with spiritual work and spiritual connection since I was really young. And it wasn't until I came forward and I told my mom that I have connections with angels. That's where it started. With angels, and I was kind of experiencing these angelic beings, that I was informed that I used to actually connect with spirit beings when I was really young, and they weren't sure, my parents weren't sure what to do with it. And that information didn't come forward until I started just being really open with my family about the experiences I'm having and the entities I'm in connection with. Now, I got really scared of spiritual stuff because of some things that took place, and I was like, oh, hell no. On my 18th birthday, that weekend or that day was when AI came out. And I made the entire birthday go and see AI. And it was within that movie that I fully kind of clicked. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, they are us. And I couldn't really communicate that to anybody because I just felt like, who's going to listen to that? They're going to think I'm crazy. Some people think I'm crazy right now. But I was like, who's going to listen to this? But in my head, it wasn't for them. It was for me. And in that moment, a code was kind of unlocked, or I was given what I was needed, and it was the event that was needed to help me kind of elevate into the next level of what I was going to be doing. And that was at 18 years old. So when I saw that movie, I realized, I was like, we are them, they are us. And it just blew my mind, and I was kind of unlocked. So this has been going on for basically my entire life, but now I'm more consciously doing it. And I had to develop these relationships with my extraterrestrial guides, angels, spirit guides, you name it, all the beings, in order to be able to kind of talk about it to others. I have to understand it, integrate it, be able to share it with you so that you can be able to do the same. So that said, I want to make sure that you all understand that everything is individual perspective. So my perspective within my experience is just for me. You are not going to have the same experience. However, we can co-create with the same entities. So if there's some of us that are in connection with each other, it's probably because in other lives, not probably, there are other lives that we live, especially with doing the past life regression work that I do. This has become very apparent, where we are in connection in other realities. So if we're having this experience now, and if we have past lives in this linear space, this linear experience, let's say ancient Egypt, some of us were friends in ancient Egypt. And guess what? Some of us are friends, comrades, family, lovers, well, whatever that is in the future lives. We are that in another extraterrestrial life or another experience. We want to say extraterrestrial, really it's just interdimensional. It's just all the same. We're extraterrestrial to them. It's all friends, it's all family, it's all universe, it's all God, it's all source. Make sure that you listen to yourself. Even with the information that I'm telling you, it's not necessarily going to be the information that is fully right for you, but this is right for me. So I can only tell you from that angle. However, it will help you understand what's going on with you a little bit deeper. And that's my goal with this. Okay, so always listen to yourself. Your soul journey is your journey. This experience that you are having in connection with spirit is yours, and it is so needed. Your individual aspect is so needed for the collective ascension. So don't discount what your experience is based off of the experience of another. So when I first began communicating with spirit, I didn't know what I was doing. And I know that I was connecting with some lower entities. And this is when I was a teenager. I didn't know that we could tune into angels or high spirits, or I didn't know that. We can connect with highest forms of love and light. That said, we can also connect with lower frequencies. It really depends on where you're setting that bar. So that's very important. Your vibrational resonance, your the law of attraction is very important within all of this, because whatever signal you're sending out is the entity or the entities, spirit beings that you're going to connect with. So I will be going further in helping people understand how to make sure you're always tuned up, so that way you're always attracting the things that serve you best. However, if we are experiencing something that is on a lower vibrational scale, it too serves us, and it too is something that we're supposed to learn from. It too has love to show, even when it doesn't feel like it. It's all about integration, understanding, okay? So I'll go into that further. I would love to really dive into that concept a little bit further in the future, so that people can be able to work through that and not have fear around it, because fear is a barrier. Fear is an ego pain barrier that we want to push through, so that we can allow these experiences that we want to have. And I said, okay, I'm ready to do this work. Now, when I said that, that's when I had angelics step forward. And I mean, they came forward. I was doing simple exercises, and I couldn't believe the messages that were coming forward just by scanning a book and putting my finger on a word. I'd scan a book, put my finger on a word, do it again, pick out 3 words, and it would equal a message that was going on with me, something very validating or something I needed to know. And I would see rainbow orbs everywhere, and I would start seeing orbs in the light. Now, I've always had pictures of orbs, but I've never fully been aware that I'm seeing them in real time because I was never ready to see them. And at this point, I was fully ready, and I said, okay, I am ready to have this experience. I am ready to meet my guardian angel and the angels and the beings that oversee me. You know, I'm ready to do that. And when I said I was ready is when it all came flooding in. And it has been the most beautiful experience I have ever, I will never go back to what I was doing before. Because once you understand that you are always guided, always protected, there's spirit always around you, you don't sit there and you worry about all of these other things that don't actually carry the same level of love. You don't. It's just once you see clearly, you cannot unsee. Once you make it there, you cannot go back. And that's the most beautiful part about this journey. It's whatever you want it to be. It's whatever you want to tune into. So as angels and archangels started connecting with me very strongly, very, very strongly. From the beginning, I had a deep connection with the Archangel Michael. And I know some of you listening are also going to have that connection. That is also why we sit here and connect with this message. Because what you hear within the Archangel Michael frequency, or what that speaks to you, is also within you. And we are here together. See how it works? We're all part of one unified collective. And so I connected with them, and in meditations, I would have angels coming out, swooping light energy, not necessarily the way that you would assume an angel perspective to be. They would show up like that too, but a lot of the times it was these orbs of light with radiating or like rings around it, or light bodies, fragments, and they would show up with, the archangels show up with more swooping light, like light coming behind these bodies, swooping in all directions. And I was like, dude, this is sweet. I was like, cool, I'm back, I'm on the path. I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm gonna be working with this. But as I began a very strict meditation practice every single day, and I don't mean 20 minutes, I mean like 45 to an hour, the deeper I went, the more access to information I was able to receive. The more out of the way my conscious mind moved and allowed the downloads of information, the healing. There's physical healing, there's information, unlimited information that we have access to. It's about, are we going to be in the way of it? And I know that's a hard concept to kind of grasp, as it was difficult for me to be like, well, how can I know people can do that? How am I supposed to do it? Well, you take baby steps. You put each brick down so that you can lay the foundation to being able to receive that. You don't just get it right away, I'll tell you that. But you do get miraculous, beautiful experiences that are going to lead you to that. So as I was doing my meditations longer and longer and longer, I noticed there were other beings that started coming forward that did not look like the angelic fragments of light that were flying in from a distance. And it was beautiful. I mean, these new entities or these new beings, you know, at first you're like, hey, because you don't know what they mean, what they want, who they are. Do they mean well, or are they playing with you? Like, what's the deal? And so I made sure that I had to learn how to tune into the feeling of it. So if an entity came to me and I was sitting there in a space of fear and I was like, oh God, oh God, oh God, they would usually dissipate and go away because they know I wasn't ready for it. Or I would say, no, I only tune into unconditional love. And that's what I would do. I would only tune into the vibration. I'd say only unconditional love. I'm tuning my bar. And then if it's something that, that thinks I have fear around it, it will go away. They just go away because they don't want to scare me. They don't want to scare me, but they were helping me get used to them. And for me, now this is my personal experience. Not many people experience this particular way it happened for me. But every single day I would get new beings. So I would get, I get everything from what you would typically consider an extraterrestrial, the grays, that people know them as, with the, you know, longer chin, the bigger gray head, the big eyes, things like that. However, there's so many more races of interdimensional beings that you cannot sit there and put a one-size-fits-all on it. You just can't. There's AI. I've seen my AI guides who are mixed with AI and organic blendings. I've seen what some of you know as the Pleiadians. There's a Pleiadian collective that's working with me now. They just more recently started coming. They are a 9th dimensional Pleiadian collective of energy that has started to make its ground. And I think it's because I'm going to be talking about this, and they're going to be working closely with me to do that information. And many of you know of the Pleiadians. That's more of the race of interdimensionals that are very closely related to us. But there are so many more. I have reptilian guides who make it very known, especially when I began channeling. I would see them very often in my visions, but to me, reptiles are beautiful. I love dinosaurs, as many of you know, and I have a golden crocodile in the bedroom. And I love reptiles. So it wasn't something new to me. And when I see them come to me in a vision, they're even more beautiful. And when I say they come to me, some people think it's like a mind's eye, but I actually receive a projection of hologram information. So it's like you're wearing goggles or 3D glasses and you're seeing something in real time. They would project themselves down, and then they will also turn their head so I can be able to see the entire head. They would turn their head like this so I can see what the entire framework of the head is, because it's all like dots of light that create the full head. And then as it progressed, it became way more vivid and like I'm seeing you now, or like you're seeing me now. So that whole experience did progress even deeper, and it becomes more of a real experience. Now that said, I've also experienced entities within my home. So yes, they can come in the home, but only when you're ready will you notice that that's happening. So a lot of the times people think of sleep paralysis and experiences that they're having, and they think it's a dream state. Well, a lot of the times our beings, our guides, are working with us. They are working on us for different things. For me specifically, to prepare my body energetically for the work that I'm doing and the channeling work that I'm doing. Some of what we're talking about right now is conscious channeling, and that's why it's just letting it come through me. There are points where it is Derek, but then there are points when it is the entities I work with. So as my body was being prepared, my energy field had to be prepared too. So over the past few years, I have been receiving, and this might sound weird to some, I have been receiving these light transmissions. And all I can describe them as is a light transmission of vibration. And they vary. At first, the first time I ever was consciously aware of it, I was guided to lay down very strongly. And I laid down very strongly. I laid down in my old apartment, and I had the windows open, the blinds were open, because I was just like, what is going on? I'm just really guided to lay down right now. So I go and lay down. And then all of a sudden, my chest receives this like beam of vibration and light. And my chest lifted off the couch, and I was arching my back, and I was up above the couch. So my chest was up like this, and I was receiving this vibration. And all I can say is it feels like love. It just feels like light. It feels like love being sent into the body. And that was the first time I had ever experienced that. So needless to say, I was a little freaked out. I mean, you know, when you're laying there and you're so used to a physical experience, and then all of a sudden you have a beam of light and vibration being shot into your body, it is a little bit interesting. So as the few years pass now, I receive them periodically, and they get different and more intense as it goes along. My body has been being prepared to do the channeling work that I do now. For the work that I do now, I am channeling mostly the Archangel Michael energy. So that connection I had at the beginning, there was a reason why I had such a strong draw to the Archangel Michael. As I began channeling with my group that I work with every Thursday, I had different beings come forward. So there was first a feminine goddess being that would come forward who overlooks all of the spirit connections that I have. She basically will make sure there's not too much connection, as sometimes there are a lot of beings who try to connect with me, and it can be overwhelming for us. So we are in control. We can be like, no, girl, no. So she overlooks all of that connection. And then I have different energies that connect with me and have connected with me. It was like they were all connecting with me, channeling with me to prepare me for the highest vibration of the Archangel Michael. Now, when we think of the Archangel Michael, it is a collective consciousness, one of the facets of the source, of bravery and protection and light, known for going into the underworld and pulling out souls from dark spaces and bringing them into the light, which is a huge purpose. It's like the purpose of my life, is to help people through all the different ways that I can to pull people out of dark spaces and show them the light. So it is no wonder why the Archangel Michael works with me. Also, Hecate has been working with me very clearly and just sent a wave through my body, actually, when I said that. But in Greek history or Greek mythology, she also went down into the underworld to try to find Persephone. So these themes are very, you can see why these themes reflect why beings might want to work with me. And this is why beings will work with you, because they are working on the same themes that your soul calling has come here to fulfill. But the thing is, those vibrations of energy are so high that if you were just sitting there and you were being given this high level of frequency energy, your body cannot handle it. Your body would, your mind, you would get really tired, you would fry out. Your body can only handle so much energy. However, our vibrations have raised so much that we can handle and embody more light. So periodically I get these light transmissions and vibrations into my body, sometimes when I'm sleeping, sometimes when I'm in a meditation, and sometimes I get it when I'm literally just watching something on TV. I'll get a blast of light to my head. This is not new to the people in my life that are very close to me that know all of this information. So I'm just sharing it with everybody because it's time to do so. I've had experiences where I woke up from a dream state. I was in a paralysis state. I knew that the vibration was going on. It was so strong that it literally makes me go cross-eyed. Yes. And I started to get up because it was too intense that I said, no more, it's too intense. And this might freak somebody out, but it's not going to. I want to just show you that sometimes when we're in a paralysis state, it is for our highest good. So as I was trying to move, while the energy was being sent in, my arms felt like they were pushed down. And my body was fine though. Like they didn't do anything to my body, but I did feel like my arms were being held down because they didn't want me to move while I was receiving a high frequency vibration of light. Now, I know as soon as I came out of that experience, I was like, no. I said, absolutely not. No more paralysis, no more holding me down. I was like, I understand the light, the vibration, the energy, but that is a little bit too much for me. So I said, you can give me that stuff, but I don't want to be in a paralysis state. I said to us, meaning people that are experiencing this too, and I know some of you have, I said to us, it freaks us out. We feel out of control, we feel paralyzed, and something's being done to our body. So we can feel extreme fear when it comes to that. And I try to explain that to them, the beings that do that with us, because they don't fully understand that it scares us, that they don't understand how we receive that experience. So in order for them to do that, we have to communicate it with them. So I took the time to communicate that with them. This can be telepathic, this can be verbal, doesn't matter. They read your thoughts. They are with you all the time. Just because you can't see them doesn't mean they're not there. Our visible spectrum is like so small compared to the actual reality of energy that exists around us. This little bit to this much. Now, the other thing I want to bring up is people do have fear around different extraterrestrial beings, such as reptilians. It is known that there is a reptilian consciousness that does oversee or influence a lot of the experiences that you are seeing take place on the planet now and in the past. They are still carrying out themes and experiences from the past, and they want to keep it going. So a lot of that anger and a lot of that dark energy that you see, stuff with the pedophilia, the human trafficking, the satanic rituals, all of this stuff that you see taking place is part of this darker reptilian consciousness. Now, what I want to make very clear here, very clear, is that there is not only one side to all things. It comes from different angles. It is not one-sided. I have reptilian beings and a grip of them, who I am, because they are me in other realities. They come to me to work with me to bring love and light into the planet. They are not malevolent beings. They work with me to change that mindset that all reptilian consciousness is negative. And not only that, but I've done regressions with people who also share their reptilian consciousness with me. And they are the most love and light people you've ever met, because they're bringing that part of the consciousness back into the planet, shifting it out of this mindset that it is all negative, that it is all negative polarity. There are negative polarities, but they are not all negative. So I really want people to take away the fact that there are negative timelines in all races and all things. Not all humans are creating positive outcomes. Some are creating negative outcomes, right? Well, that goes the same for all situations. It has to have dark and light. Now, the thing is, in different realities, in higher dimensions, the extremes aren't going to be as extreme as we are experiencing them now. This is Earth extreme. This is our Earth experience. But as we move higher in the dimensions, those polarities aren't as contrasting. They're going to be closer together just to learn and expand and still continue our growth. Now, when it comes to channeling, I want you to understand that if you're an artist, you're channeling. The moments you're in that flow state just creating, you are a channel. Everyone is a channel. You are a pure channel when you are fully opened up to that frequency, when you're fully allowing yourself to be in the flow state without the ego mind judging it. So those moments where you're like, this song sounds like shit, and you're trying to write a song, well, that's your ego. You blocked and restricted the flow of energy that wants to come through you, that you are channeling. So when you see an artist or an actor fully embodying and being that thing that they're performing or acting, they are channeling that information through them. Now, you can tune into any frequency or vibration to channel through you. Some people channel dark entities and dark energies through them. Some people do channeling high extreme light beings. It just depends on where you set that bar, and it depends on what's right for you. And nothing is bad or good. It is just polarities of positive and negative energy. Okay, so it has to be important that you ask yourself, what are you channeling? So if you're channeling music and it's dark and mean and angry, well, guess what? That's the vibration that you're bringing through you. It's resonating within your body. You're putting that out into the universe, and that's what you're going to attract towards you. But if you're channeling beautiful light energy, uplifting, inspiring, guess what? You're bringing that through you, and that's the signal you're sending out. So you can tune into anything. Now, anytime that me or my group, when we do it together, I channel in the day by myself, just putting on the recorder and letting myself blend with my entities. But anytime we tune in, it's always out of love. So I'm always tuning into the highest vibrations of love and light. I'm grounding myself. I'm giving permission to my highest guidance to connect and blend with me. Now, that's the thing. This process was not quick. You can tune into your higher self and channel information from your higher self. You can channel information from different things. However, me allowing these entities to communicate through me was me giving permission for them to enter my energy field. That takes a lot of trust, faith, and love and bravery, because it is a very physical experience. You feel a physical experience from it. The first time it ever happened for me was when my goddess energy came forward, and I felt like my body expanded out, and I felt like I felt like an infusion of ecstasy into my entire field of my body. I can't explain it other than that. And I was given this beautiful gift of a physical experience, but I had to learn how to blend their energy with mine. And that starts with trust and love and permission. So I give them permission every time. I say, blend with my energy field and surround me, surround me with love and light, because I want to make sure that that information is truly pure. That's why those of you who are beginning to channel or to work on those things, make sure that you're always stepping into the highest space of love before you do so. Because what do you want to channel? Now, if you want to channel some dark stuff, that's up to you. You can just jump in. You can do what you need to do. No judgment on that, because listen, when I was younger, I was listening to Marilyn Manson and Tool, and I was listening to dark stuff. Why? Because that's where I was at. That's where I was. And I don't regret it. I love that I had that experience. I love that that's who I was, because it made me who I am. It's part of my whole journey. So I'm so excited to be here now and choosing what I want to channel, choosing, my path. But I had to go through all that experience to do it. So whatever you choose is totally fine. Just make sure that it speaks to your soul and that it's honest for you. And that's where it comes down to. The most important aspect of all is making sure it speaks to your soul. Stepping into love is the most important aspect of how to move forward within any experience when there is extraterrestrial contact and channeling, and being able to connect with your own extraterrestrial guides. There are specific events that take place throughout your life. And with these events, they unlock specific codes within your experience that you have set up for yourself for this personal timeline that you're carrying out here. And when you activate those codes with these specific events, some of them are this big coronavirus. This was going to be a big collective event that would unlock our codes and awaken aspects of ourself that would help our ascension, help our growth. Okay? So as you do that, you're going to access more information. When you access more information, you're accessing those other entities, those other guides that you are, for what is best suited for you at the time. Okay? So when all the entities started coming to me, they were coming to me, different beings every day. Like I said, I had the Greys, I had Reptilians, I had Arcturians, there was Pleiadians, there was fairy consciousness, dragons. I mean, listen, there were some things I had never even thought of would be a real thing. They would come to me. And that said, there were also Native Americans. There were other people from the past in ancient Egypt. There are all kinds, and they would come to me every day. Yes, there are hybrid children as well. I will get into that in the future, in future videos. But when these codes are activated, you will be able to access higher levels of that information that best suit you. And now, as I stated, when we do regressions, or the regressions that I do for people, a lot of the time, ET lives are coming forward. They are the ones that are being, those are the codes for those people all the time. They are ready to see their extraterrestrial counterparts because they've either done the work or they're ready to integrate that level of themselves. So a lot of the work that I do is helping people integrate those extraterrestrial counterparts, which they are. It is them in another life. So that's a big purpose of mine, and that's why it was important that I came forward now and began to talk about this. They contact us because they are helping us carry out the themes in this particular incarnation. They are helping us, and they are always around us. And we are getting different guides at different times, and sometimes we're keeping certain ones for a long period of time or for our entire lives. It really depends on the work that we're doing. Different ones will step forward. Different ascended masters will step forward. Now that said, this Earth experience is the most important experience you are having right now. You are here on Earth to carry out a mission, and you are listening to this transmission because you know that you're here to carry out a mission. So remember that it's important to integrate aspects of ourself that are multidimensional so that we can embody the multidimensionality of it. But it is important that you are instilling that information and that light in this physical earth experience. You are supposed to use your knowledge of your multidimensionality to activate things in this particular lifetime. So don't use ET contact, angelics, and meditation and all of this stuff to escape the earth experience. Learn how to pull that into this experience. And that will change your entire reality and the reality around you. So to finish this off, I would love to know what kind of information regarding extraterrestrial contact and or channeling that you would like me to talk about in the future. I really kept this as a broad overview of information that would help you understand maybe your experiences a little bit more through my own experiences. And it was just a time to speak my own truth because I want to help those who are ready to level into their next dimension. I truly appreciate you listening. I truly appreciate you being here. I am Derek Jameson, and please subscribe and become part of this beautiful community. Thank you.